let's start with solid waste management. So last time, we were able to solve problems regarding the biochemical oxygen demand. So yung biochemical oxygen demand pala na yun ay wait lang pala. Um, natapos pa pala natin yung problems kasi sa isang section pala, wait, parang natapos ko yata yung isang, let me just check first yung problems ng biochemical oxygen demand kung natapos natin. Hmm. So, I think itong pangalawang problem muna, tapusin ko lang saglit to. Saglit lang naman siya, mga 2 minutes lang to. Tapos, let's proceed with the solid waste management. So, last time, ang pinaka-last na problem na nasagutan natin is this one, yung may alcohol, yung may ano parang mixture ng alcohol, tas ano yung magiging resulting mixture pag pinaghalo natin yung may dalawang percentages. Parang ganun yung atake nitong problem na BOD, kung naalala ninyo. Now, for the second problem, linkage pa rin siya doon sa una. So sabi dito, what sample size naman is required for a biochemical oxygen demand of 30 milligrams per liter if the oxygen consumed is limited to 6 milligrams per liter. So please remember our formula para sa BOD5. So we have the BOD5, or this is the consumed, is equal to the DOI, or the dissolved oxygen initial of the mixture, minus the DO of the final, or the final mixture, over the volume of the sample over the total na volume. Now, for the previous problem, ang total natin na volume ng sample, which is the wastewater, is 6 milliliters. And for our volume total, we have 294 na diluting water plus 6 ml na wastewater, so that makes it 300 ml. So yun yung total na volume ng ating sample. Then for our dito nakalagay, if the oxygen consumed is limited to 6 milligrams per liter, ano daw yung magiging sample size? So dito naman sa problem na to, guys, yung 30 milligrams per liter na nakalagay dito, yan yung BOD5. So isasalpak natin yung 30 milligrams per liter dito sa equation for BOD5. Now, for the 6 milligrams per liter, sabi dyan, oxygen consumed. So, ibig sabihin, that is just the dissolved oxygen final minus the dissolved oxygen initial. So, ibig sabihin, parang siya si delta DO. Nantindihan? Basta consume, sabi niyang ganun. Tapos, yung volume of the sample naman yung tinatanong this time. Now, paano yan, ma'am? Dalawa yung unknown. So, paano mo mahahanap ang two unknowns with only one equation? So, that is not possible, di ba? So, yung volume total, as I have said earlier, since ang ginagamit kasi sa pag-experiment natin ng biochemical oxygen demand ay yung borosilicate glass na usually it is or it has a 300 ml na mark. So, yun yung inalagay natin or i-assume natin na total volume. So, kung isasalpak natin siya sa equation, this is 30 milligrams per liter is equal to the DOI minus the DOF. Ito yon yung 6 milligrams per liter. And then, divided by yung unknown na volume of the sample. So, hindi natin alam kung gaano karami yung wastewater na sinample dyan sa experiment. Over 300. So, in short, kapag walang binigay na total number ng total volume of the solution, ang i-assume natin ay always 300. Okay? So, shift solve natin yung volume of the sample. So, we have 30 is equal to 60. So, this is, ay bakit nga? So, anong masolve ninyo, guys? 60? Tama ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so 60. Okay. So, expect ninyo na sa exam ninyo next week, meron tayong DOE sa problem. Okay, so the schedule will be announced later na lang siguro kasi ayusin ko pa yung fluids mo na yung uunahin kong is ayusin para sabay-sabay kayong dalawang section. Okay, so now let's move on to solid waste management kung wala na po kayong tanong sa biochemical oxygen demand. May any question, guys? Clarifications? Wala? Okay. So for the solid waste management, before we come up with the design ng mga bin natin, kailangan muna nating i-discuss what is solid waste management. So ang solid waste management ay sobrang dami nung discussion nito. Ayan. So mga ilang pages pa to? 10 pages pala siya. So, isa-summarize ko na lang siya and then pag gusto niyo siyang basahin ng matagal, ibibigay ko na lang itong PDF na ito sa inyo later on. Okay. So, what is solid waste? So, when we say solid waste, it is a non-liquid waste material arising from domestic, trade, commercial, industrial, and mining activities. It also includes waste arising from the conduct of public services, such as street sweepings, landscape maintenance, and the clearing of typhoon wrought debris. Note that the term non-liquid is relative because it includes sludge coming from industrial sources and sewage treatment plants. So later on, ika-categorize natin yung iba't ibang klase ng mga waste at saka kung ano yung mga toxic substances doon sa waste natin na kailangan may sarili silang may special process sa kanila para i-dispose. Okay? So what is solid waste management? When we say solid waste management, this refers to all activities pertaining to control, transfer, and transport, processing, and disposal of solid waste in accordance with the best principles of public health, economics, engineering, conservation, aesthetics, and other environmental considerations. And then also, dito sa envy natin, before tayo matapos sa course na to, tuturuan ko din kayo ng life cycle assessment. So, ibig sabihin, for example, yung isang product natin, or let's say yung ano na lang, yung sa my rice farming, kapag kasi sinabi kasi nating life cycle assessment, we are assessing its life cycle from kung kailan ipe-prepare yung soil hanggang doon sa pag-manage ng kanyang waste like the burning of the rice straws. So, yun yung ibig sabihin ng life cycle assessment. But, dun sa life cycle assessment kasi or the life cycle analysis, pwede tayong maglagay ng boundary para hindi naman natin siya i-analyze ng buo. So, that is what we call as the system boundary. So, it will be discussed later on. So, ganun din sa may mga solid waste management. So, before pa lang, for example, sa pagka-design kasi ng, for example, sa packaging ng product, before kasi siya gamitin sa pagpapackage ng mga product natin, pinag-aaralan yan of course ng mga scientists, researchers, kung paano siya i-dispose later on after its life cycle. Kapag na-consume na siya ng mga consumers, so what will happen to that waste? Doon nakalagay sa kanyang life cycle analysis or life cycle assessment. And also nakalagay din sa life cycle assessment kung mga ilan yung i-release niyang mga carbon dioxide or mga greenhouse gases. How will it affect the environment? Okay. Then, dito tayo pinaka-concern yung mga municipal solid waste natin. Kasi the improper management of solid waste has direct adverse effects on health. I know that dito pa lang sa school, hindi na natin sa segregate talaga yung mga waste natin kasi kahit naman nakalagay na recyclable, compostable, ganyan, hindi naman natin talaga tawag dito, na isi-segregate. Or kung isa-segregate man natin, pag dun sa may collection na part, pinaghahalo-halo din lang. So, parang wala din lang silbi yung segregation. So, the uncontrolled fermentation kasi pag hindi kasi natin na i-separate yung nabubulok doon sa hindi nabubulok, it will create a food source and habitat for bacterial growth. Now, yung mga gases na nare-release kasi ng mga bacteria, then it can cause diseases. Kasi itong mga bacteria na to, it can be a pathogen that ang pathogen is a disease-causing microorganism. So we have the different public health aspects of solid waste management. So ito yung mga human pathogens. So ang source nito ay yung mga diapers, handkerchiefs, contaminated food, and surgical dressings. So lalo doon sa mga hospitals, dapat may special bin sila for the surgical gloves or kaya yung mga waste galing sa operating room na may nako-contain ng mga human fluids like blood, mga ganun, urine. We also have the animal pathogens. These are the waste naman from pets. Pag soil pathogens naman, these are the garden waste. So, ang garden waste ay pwede natin siyang i-categorize into the organic at saka inorganic waste. Kapag kayong sa mga inorganic waste, ito yung mga ginagamit natin na mga fertilizers. Pero yung mga fertilizers naman, meron din namang organic or meron din naman yung mga inorganic. Pero I'm talking to the mostly used na ginagamit na mga fertilizers. So those fall under the garden waste. Then we also have the bacteria, virus, and protozoa. So example ng nakukos ng bacteria is we have the diarrhea, cholera, typhoid fever. Pagka-virus naman is the Hepa A, Hepa B, poliovirus, and then we also have the protozoa, amoebic dysentery, Intamiba histolica, Giardiasis, Klebsiella, etc. And we also have the helminths, or these are the flatworms, roundworms, and tapeworms. So, papaano nga ba nako-contaminate or papaano natin nakukuha yung mga sakit na to? So, meron siyang, base dito, meron tayong tatlong route. So, we have the inhalation, yun yung kapag naamoy natin. Meron naman yung skin-to-skin contact. So, we have the skin percutaneous. And another one is the ingestion. Kapag, for example, nahawakan mo yung contaminated ng bacteria and then bigla mong naisuko sa'yo, then that is the ingestion. Okay? So, kailangan ng good hygiene if we are handling solid waste. Then also, we have the three categories for solid waste. We have the municipal waste. Ito yung mga galing sa mga bahay natin. So, nandyan, residential, and then commercial. Pagka sinabi naman natin mga industrial waste, so this will include the waste arising from mga manufacturing industries, like, for example, dun sa mga scrapper nila, so may mga ashes doon, and also we have the construction waste and special waste. And then for the hazardous waste, ito yung medyo mahirap siyang i-dispose kasi hindi siya parang sa municipal at saka industrial waste na pwede mo lang siyang i-segregate. But for the hazardous waste kasi, it contains radioactive substances, chemicals, biological waste, flammable waste, explosives. Like, for example, nasira yung ref or yung aircon mo, yung aircon kasi at saka yung ref, they contain refrigerants. So those refrigerants kasi contain hydrocarbons like chlorofluorocarbon, which is very harmful to the environment. And also yung mga, kunwari yung mga butane gas na, let's say, naubos yun na sa kain nung, ginagamit niya siya sa bahay. So hindi naman kasi siya totally na dissipate lahat. So, meron pa rin konting matitira doon sa ating container. So, those, nagpo-fall sila under the hazardous waste. Then, we also have yung municipal solid waste. Ito yung nakikita natin kadalasan or na-generate natin mismo sa mga bahay-bahay natin. So, these are the garbage or the food wastes. And then, we have the rubbish. So, garbage is different from rubbish. Okay? Kapag ka-garbage, ito yung mga food wastes. And then, kapag ka mga rubbish naman, ito yung mga plastics, rubber, leather, etc. etc. Then, we also have the ashes and residues, materials coming from the burning of the wood, coal, coke, and other combustible waste. So, dito sa solid waste pala, we will be able to compute the composition of the waste. Like for example, meron siyang carbon, meron siyang hydrogen, meron siyang oxygen. So malalaman natin kung gaano karami yung kanyang composition under dry at saka yung kanyang wet category. And also, we will be able to compute for its calorific value. So, i-discuss ko siya later on. Then we also have the demolition and construction waste. Waste from construction, remodeling, and repairing of residential, commercial, and industrial buildings. We also have the special waste, treatment plant waste. So, na-discuss ko dati yung treatment plant waste. Ito yung mga sewage natin or the sludge. Yung mga sludge, yun yung na-collect natin na nag-settle down coming from the flocculation or di ba pag nandun tayo sa may primary treatment ng wastewater, nakakapag-generate tayo or yung mga nahuhulog ng organic waste, di ba? So, pag gumamit kasi tayo ng coagulant, let's say the aluminum hydroxide, yun yung ilalagay natin sa tubig. So, it has a positive charge. Tapos, yung waste naman natin ay negative charge. So, mag-attract yun. And then, through gravity, magsisettle down sila. So, yung nag-settle down na yun na mga flux, yun yung makokollect na yun or magstay as sludge. So, those are the treatment plant waste. I also have the trash, like the ref, tree limbs, mattresses, and other bulky items that is not collected in the household refuse. So ano ba yung sources ng municipal solid waste? So syempre, yung mga waste na natin galing sa mga bahay. So ito yung mga residential. We also have from sa mga palengke, sa mga schools, sa mga shops, medical facilities, and institutions. These are the commercial. Pagka naman open areas o yung makikita mo sa mga park, sa mga bakanteng lote, sa mga beach, sa mga highway. And last one is we have the treatment plant sites. Then for the physical composition of the solid waste, so we have the following. We have the moisture content, density, and the field capacity. Kasi para makapag-design tayo ng isang, let's say, holding, para siyang kwan, for example, sa isang barangay, di ba may mga nagko-collect, for example, per house-to-house collection. Tapos from house-to-house collection, meron tayong tinatawag na holding area before nilang ipunta sa mga sanitary landfill. So before tayo makapag-design kasi ng holding area, dapat alam natin yung estimate na nag-generate na waste per capita per day para alam natin kung gaano kalaki yung bin na ipe-prepare. Then we also have the chemical composition. So we have the proximate analysis or the moisture. Papaano siya hindi naman kailangan tong i-gawin kasi proximate analysis is for ano to, mga ano na dito mag-a-analyze is mga chemist na yung mag-a-analyze dito. So gagamit lang tayo dyan ng oven. So kailangan natin silang i-oven at 105 degrees Celsius for 1 hour to secure or to ensure na lahat ng moisture ay mag-evaporate. And then, we also have the fusing point of ash. And then, kapag ka-ultimate analysis, the composition of the waste is categorized as the percent carbon, percent hydrogen, percent oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, and percent ash. We will also be able to compute for the heating value using the Dulong formula. For this is the HHV or meron siyang unit ng BTU per pound mass. So we have the formula of 145, ano lang yan, constant yan na, ginawa ni Dulong yan, kaya siya Dulong formula. So we have 145 multiplied by the carbon plus 610 times H minus 0.125 times oxygen plus 40 sulfur plus 10 N. Para malaman mo na, ganito pala yung heating value ng waste natin. Then, kapag gusto mo naman na in terms of megajoules per kilogram, ito naman yung gagamitin natin na formula. Pero, most likely, ang papagamit ko lang dito sa atin ay yung Dulong formula lang para mas simple siya. Okay? Meron din naman yung Kahn's equation. So, ito din yung ginagamit. Nandyan yung mga legend natin. So, we have the energy content in megajoules per kilogram. Kapag TF, percent food by weight. Pag CP, cardboard and paper by weight. Kapag ka PLR naman, plastic and rubber by weight. So, building principles of solid waste management. Waste is a resource. Waste prevention is better than waste regulation control. So dito sa parang pyramid, yung pinaka mahalaga dapat guys ay yung waste prevention, 'di ba? Syempre kung magpe-prevent tayo or mape-prevent natin totally yung source ng waste, of course, wala namang ma-generate ng waste. But yun nga, hindi nga natin mape-prevent kasi laging may nage-generate na waste sa mga daily activities natin. So what we can do is we can reduce or we can minimize the generation of waste. Kaya siya pumapangalawa sa pyramid natin. Ito, yung reduction. Then, we also have the recycling and reuse. And we can also transform that waste into a more useful form. Then, afterwards, syempre kapag wala na talaga siyang silbi, so i-dispose na natin siya. Okay? So, the functional elements of the solid waste management, of course, there is the waste generation and then we are going to store it sa mga bins natin, for example, sa mga bahay-bahay. And then eventually, may mga magko-collect dyan. And then, ita-transfer yan and transport. And then, process and recovery. So, process and recovery, ang isa sa pinakamalaking sanitary landfill na napuntahan namin during our field trip is sa Taytay Rizal. So, sobrang laki nun. Para siyang ano na talaga eh, para siyang bundok ng basura talaga na literal. Pero ang ginagawa nila kasi doon, kino-convert nila yung mga waste into briquettes or ginagawa silang parang maliliit na uling, parang ganun. Tapos kapag ano naman na yung mga hindi na talaga kaya, nilalagay na lang nila doon sa may lupa nila. Pero ano yun ha, parang gigilingin muna nila, ano na yung tawag doon, parang iga-grind nila into very small pieces. Tapos yun, unti-unti nilang binabaon yun sa lupa hanggang sa sobrang taas natin. May mga truck na nagsa-flatten talaga sa surface. And after which, no, disposal na. Okay? Then waste generation is very difficult to control. Yes. The amount of waste generated depends on the level of economic activity. Um, Pinakamalaking factor talaga yung ano natin, yung financial. Kasi for example, kung hindi ka na hindi ka naman masyadong, let's say, yung baon mo or yung kita ng family mo is very small. So there is a possibility na mas konti din yung ma-generate mo na waste kasi nga konti lang yung ah, kaya mong bilhin. Like for example, kapag ka marami kang pera, usually yung mga kids ngayon or yung mga bata ngayon sa school, pag may pera, 'di ba, order ng order. So hindi nyo nare-realize na yung lifestyle pala natin ay nakaka-affect pala doon sa waste generation. So the greater the activity, the higher the generation rate. Okay? Then the factors affecting waste generation, yan is state of individual economy, yun yung sinabi ko kanina, lifestyle mo. Kung, for example, ano ba yung preference mo? Kung ang preference mo ay yung palaging mga fast food, palaging yung mga prepackaged food stuff, like the mga hot dogs, mga ganyan, of course, you will generate more waste. And you also have the size and type of dwellings. So those who dwell in larger and more expensive type of homes produce more waste, of course. We also have the demographic profile of the population. So in general, the greater the number of the persons per household, the less volume of the waste generated. As an example, in the US, it was found out that in a household of two persons, the average per capita waste generation is 1.28 kilogram per day. On the other hand naman, families consisting of six members had per capita generation of 0.52 kilogram per day. So in India, an average family of six has a per capita generation of 0.42 kilogram per day. Age also, young consumers patronize set of products different from those consumed by their elders or religion. And then the extent to which the 3 R's of waste management are carried out. Then meron din tayong mga seasonal variations kasi nag-iiba-iba do yung consumer preferences natin depende sa mga variations, seasonal variations. Then of course, presence of pets and domestic animals. Siyempre kapag ka may mga pets tayo like the cats, di ba marami din siyang mga needs like we have the cat litter, mga cat food, and then ano pa ba yung mga ginagamit nila kung super nilalagay niyo din siya sa loob, di ba minsan naglalagay din kayo ng mga diapers ng mga pets ninyo. So that will contribute to the waste. Then presence of laws and ordinances governing waste management. So this, yes, yung law at ordinance, parang ito kasi nagre-regulate sa atin minsan. So kapag sinabing bawal magtapon ng basura dito, of course, yung iba, susunod, yung iba naman ay hindi. Yung ginagawa naman mostly sa ibang bansa, may mga tinatawag kasi tayo na um, let's say yung mga, parang mga machine na kapag maglalagay ka doon ng mga waste, mag-generate siya ng or magbibigay siya sa'yo ng pera. So kapag ka ganun kasi, nag-iiba din yung thinking ng mga tao na, okay, kapag naglagay pala ako ng mga bottles or waste dito sa machine na to, bibigyan ako ng pera. So, ang thinking mo naman, puwede kang bili ng bili ng mga, bottles na gano'n, then ifi-feed mo naman siya sa machine para in return magkaroon ka ng pera. So, I forgot the term kung ano ng tawag dun sa parang thinking na gano'n. I-send ko na lang mamaya yung term niya, nakalimutan ko lang. Then we also have the 3 Rs of solid waste management. So ito yung nakikita ninyong triangle doon sa mga bottles natin or any consumable products na yung parang may ano siya, yung ganito, yung triangle, tapos may tatlong arrow na ganyan. Yan. Then, di ba doon sa loob niya may number? So, sabi ko na dati na yung number doon sa loob ng triangle, if plastic yung kinokonsume mo, that is actually the type of plastic, okay? It is not the number of times na pwede mong gamitin yung plastic. Understood? Kasi yun yung common misconception kasi dati. Na kapag kayong number down na nandoon sa loob ng triangle is the number of times that you can use bottle. But in fact, it is actually the type of plastic. Okay? So kapag ka-3, that is actually the PET or the polyethylene. And we also have the on-site handling, storage, and processing. Wait, I will just erase this one. I will erase. On-site handling, so this refers to the activities associated with handling of solid waste until they are placed in the containers used for their storage before collection. So on-site handling, and then followed by the on-site storage, followed by the on-site processing. For the collection, this involves the gathering of solid waste and hauling them to transfer stations, processing and recovery stations, or to final disposal sites. So in most solid waste management system, the cost of collection accounts for a significant portion of total cost from 40 to 80%. Meron din tayong iba't ibang klase ng collection. So actually guys, pinag-aaralan din yung ruta ng mga trucks natin kung nagko-collect sila ng waste such that para makatipid din sila or mas efficient yung pagko-collect nila para hindi sila paikot-ikot. May tawag doon sa pag-a-analyze nung way nila. So for example, kung the-drawing nila kasi yung parang straight doon sa map. So kung ganito yung, let's say ito yung path nila, no? Ayan, kunwari siyempre nandun ka sa mga residential area like dito sa Ordaneta for example, 'di ba? Maraming mga collection points. Eh ngayon yung truck eh super laki nun. Tapos siyempre, para mas maging efficient din tayo sa mga resources na gagamitin, kailangan pinag-aralan din yung path nila para hindi pa ulit-ulit yung pupuntahan ng truck. Ang tawag doon is Euler way of collecting waste. So, for example, dito yung starting point ng truck natin. So, saan dapat yung kanyang next na ruta para mas makakoleksyon ng mas marami without uh, yung pabalik-balik na pag-move ng mga truck. So, parang ganun. We also have the alley service, backyard carry, set-out service, and we also have the set-out, set-back service. Then we have the different containers, hold container system, and we also have the stationary container system. Then for the collection routes, the selection of a proper route for collection vehicles known as route optimization. So ito yung sinasabi ko pala, ito si Euler. Yan. The problem of route optimization was first addressed in 1736 by famous mathematician Leonhard Euler. He was asked to design a parade route for Königsberg such that the parade would not cross any bridge over River Pregel more than once. So yun yung sinabi ko, para hindi pa balik-balik yung truck, yun yung Euler na way. Euler showed that such a route was impossible for the King's Parade, but he generalized the problem by specifying the conditions necessary to establish such a route, now known as the ito, Euler's tour. Yan. So, yun yung tawag doon sa method niya nung paglalagay nung ruta ng truck. So, the objective of truck routing is to create a Euler's tour where a street is traversed only once and then heading, traveling twice down the same street is eliminated. So, parang nagpa-puzzle ka din, di ba? For example, may mga iba't ibang, parang kinoconnect, parang connecting the dots ka na iba't ibang kulay. So, saan ka pwedeng dumaan na hindi na uulit? Parang ganun. Or hindi pwedeng na touch or hindi pwedeng mag-jive yung dalawang line. So, para ka lang ding nagpa-puzzle. So, ang gagawin lang dyan, we have to draw a map collection site na map. Tapos, yun, parang gagawa ka ng pinaka-efficient na ruta. So, that is the Euler's tour. We also have the transfer and transport. So, when the location of the final disposal site is at a considerable distance from the waste collection points, it is often more economical to transfer the collected waste to larger transport vehicles. So, for example, kasi may mga lugar kasi na sobrang liblib sa bayan na 'to. So ang gagawin, since hindi naman siya puwedeng mapuntahan ng truck kasi nga maliit yung daan, magkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na holding area para yung mga maliliit na mga, daan or yung mga galing sa makipot na daanan, puwede muna nilang pansamantala, parang temporary holding station siya, habang hindi pa siya kino-collect yung mga truck. So dun muna natin siya ilalagay and then afterwards, 'pag may schedule na, doon na nila kukunin. So that is the, um transfer and transport classes. We also have the transfer station, a place where waste from small collection trucks is transferred to a larger, long-distance hauling vehicles. So paggaling naman sa mga nakolekta ng mga small trucks yan, ililipat naman yan sa mas malalaki na namang mga vehicles para ipunta nila na sa mga sanitary landfill. Okay? So kasi hindi naman lahat ng bayan may mga sanitary landfill. But I think dito sa Organeta meron yata sila. May mga specialized kasi na facility for the waste like the MRF na tinatawag natin or the Materials Recovery Facility wherein sinishred nila yung mga waste, kino-compact para ma-reduce yung volume ng waste. So, kung gusto ninyo makatulong in your own way, for example, kapag ka kumain kayo ng kunwari mga fast food, tapos 'di ba nilagay nila 'yan sa mga paper na ano. Puwede kayong makatulong sa pag-lessen nung ano, ifa-flatten ninyo yung for example yung karton or yung mga gatas, yung mga box ng mga gatas, yung mga naka-tetra. So kung nasa likod kasi nung, mga products naman yung proper way of disposing them. So kapagka may parang space pa siya sa loob, you can flatten them para matulungan mo naman yung, um pagko-collect ng mga trucks doon sa ating waste. Then we also have to consider the cost because the cost of owning and operating facility and then cost of hauling operations including repair and maintenance of transport equipment. So ito yung mga dapat mo ding i-consider kapag ka nagkakaroon tayo ng mga sanitary landfill or mga temporary holding station. Then you also have the classification of transfer station. So meron yung direct discharge, storage discharge, and combined direct and storage discharge. Hanggang anong oras na tayo dito? Hanggang 10 pa lang. So kaya ko bang tapusin? So I think hindi. So let me just ano ko na lang yung mga importante na points dito sa discussion ko para matapos natin. So yung ito na lang maging mas sa mga technical na parts na lang. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, ito yung mga type ng plastic or ito naman yung kanilang mga code. So we have the codes number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So kapag 1, this is the PET or we have the polyethylene terephthalate. So ito yung mga soft drink bottles. And then we also have the 2-HDPE or the high density polyethylene or ito yung mga milk cartons. And then we also have the polyvinyl chloride or PVC. Ito yung nakikita natin sa mga piping system natin usually. And we also have the LDPE or the low density polyethylene. So ito yung mga plastic film for food wrapping, trash bags, grocery bags, and baby diapers. We also have the polypropylene. Ito yung mga nakikita natin sa automobile battery casing and the bottle cups. And we have the polystyrene or the PS. So ito yung food packaging, foam cups. Ito yung tinatawag ng mga styro na kainan. And you also have the 7 or mixed plastics. Actually, ang 7 kasi guys ay kumbaga ano siya, parang others, parang kumbaga gano'n. So kung hindi siya may categorize as 1 to 6, matik na number 7 siya. Pero pagdating ninyo kasi sa ibang bansa like Japan, hindi lang 7 yung category ng kanilang mga waste. More than pa dyan. Kaya ano din sa kanila, tawag ito, mga high-tech yung pag-collect nila ng waste at saka yung pag-categorize nila ng waste doon sa Japan. So, yon. And we also have the energy recovery. So, may involve recovering material, but essentially, it is the recovery of the fuel value of the waste. So, this include the following. So, may pinagkaiba guys yung incineration at saka pyrolysis. So, when we say incineration, the heat given off in the process of incinerating waste may be utilized to produce steam which is in turn can be used. So, parang sa ano lang din, para lang siyang sa furnace power plant, gagamitin natin yung heat generated from the waste para makapag-convert tayo ng heat energy to electrical energy. We also have the pyrolysis, a process naman that brings about a chemical change in the waste through the action of high temperatures without oxygen. Okay? So kapag sinabi natin pyrolysis without oxygen. So this process is also called destructive distillation. It results to the production of liquids and gases which can be recombined to produce fuel such as methanol. So this is actually under energy conversion or under the tinatawag natin na first law of thermodynamics or the law of conservation of energy. We also have the biodigesters. Organic waste is ground up and mixed with water, and the slurry is kept in sealed tanks equipped with pipes to extract the methane gas produced under anaerobic conditions. Kasi ang mga organic waste kasi natin kapag ka na consume yan or parang kinakain siya ng mga bacteria doon sa loob, nakakapag-produce sila ng methane gas and then it will be extracted under anaerobic conditions. And we also have the refuse derived fuel. This involves the segregation of the combustible portion of the waste and processing it into fuel for burning. So, yung example ko kanina, yung mga waste natin na ginagrind, pwede siyang i-convert into briskets. Para siyang yung parang uling na maliliit, parang ganun. Then we also have the landfill gas extraction, utilization of landfill gases as a process fuel for generating electricity or as a chemical feedstock through the application of various technologies such as drilling techniques, plant equipment, and gas pipeline systems. So, yan yung mga pwede nating gawin to recover energy from waste. Okay? So, yung waste pala, pwede pa pala tayong makapagkuha doon ng mga energy, which is, yes, like the burning of the rice straw or kaya yung rice husk, yung mga ganyan. So, of course, makakapag-generate pa din tayo doon ng electricity. Then we also have the reduction of waste volume. We have the thermal volume reduction, incineration, and pyrolysis. Mechanical volume reduction, manual component separation. So, lagpasan ko na lang muna tong part na to. Punta tayo sa may biological municipal solid waste treatment. So, MSW stands for municipal solid waste treatment. So, we have the most common na naririnig natin. Ito yung composting. Another material recovery process, it is a biological process in which organic matter is broken down into simpler compounds by the action of microorganisms. So, ang requirement niya, kailangan daw ma-maintain natin yung moisture content niya ng 50 to 60%. And ang kanyang temperature ay 15 to 20 deg C para mabuhay yung mga microorganisms natin. And then we also have the oxygen because microorganisms also need oxygen to break down organic matter. So kailangan yung oxygen content natin ay nasa 15 to 20% and the carbon to nitrogen ratio should be 30. That ensures adequate nitrogen for the cell synthesis and carbon for energy source. And we also have to maintain the pH of the soil 6 to 8. Yun yung optimum. So kapag ka bumaba ng 5, masyado ng acidic. Pag lumagpas naman ng 8, masyado na siyang basic. So ang optimum ay nasa range ng 6 to 8. So may mga iba't ibang klase ng composting. So we have the in-vessel or ito yung paggamit natin ng mga reactors such as the plug flow, vertical continuous flow reactors, rotating drums. Takes about 3 to 4 weeks for composting. So this is a controlled environment because plug flow tsaka yung mga mga mix reactor yan yung mga kailangan nating i-maintain yung mga pressure niya at saka temperature. So actually kino-compute yung mga yan dito sa mga ganitong reactors. We also have the traditional windrow. So it is piled up in a long rows of almost triangular cross-section. So meron siyang mga dimensions na 2 meters, 3 to 4 meters, and the composting takes 2 to 3 months. Yun nga lang, hindi siya ganun kabilis unlike kapag gumamit ka ng controlled environment for composting like the plant flow, which can only take 3 to 4 weeks lang for composting. Okay? Then, aerated static pile, MSW is piled up in a windrow about 1 to 2 meters high and 3 to 4 meters wide and 20-meter long on floors and ventilation piping system, and the composition is enhanced by forcing air through the perforated pipes at regular intervals. So like the traditional windrow, matagal din kung totoo sa litong letter C, pero mas mabilis naman siya ng konti kung i-compare natin sa traditional way. Kasi kumbaga meron tayo ditong driving force which is the aeration. Kasi you are forcing air to the perforated pipes. We also have the rapid composting technique. So when we see composting, this is just a process of breaking down of organic substance by microorganisms. So it is nature's way of cleaning in the environment of its own debris. So ganun din yung ginagawa ng mga microorganisms sa tubig, kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng biochemical oxygen demand. So ganun din ang ginagawa nila sa mga solid waste naman. So composting is not a new technology but the discovery of specifically kung anong microorganism yon. This is the Trichoderma harzianum. A fungus compost activator has been found to shorten the decomposition process, which normally takes more than 4 months to only 4 to 5 weeks. So, kailangan nating mag-introduce ng bagong microorganism doon para, kumbaga, nag-act siya as, anong tawag na dito? I forgot the term na naman. Para siyang, wait lang, nakalimutan ko yung term dito, yung nagpapabilis ng process. Wait. Yun. Catalyst pala. I forgot. So, yun. So, this Trichoderma harzianum will act as a catalyst para mapabilis natin yung traditional way of composting. Okay, so yun. Then we also have the fertilizer. So, na-discuss ko naman na to yung, for example, yung may mga special na needs, for example, yung iba't ibang klase ng waste. So, dapat ganito yung amount ng nitrogen, ganito yung amount ng phosphorus, and ganito yung amount ng potassium to be composted. So, nandiyan yung certain na percentages ng mga component na yun. So, we have the 3.99 nitrogen, 1.65 phosphorus, and then 4.48 potassium. We also have the second one, anaerobic digestion. So, kapag kasi sinabi natin anaerobic, wala pong oxygen. So, we have the process here of the chemical formula. We have the organic matter plus moisture, which is the water. So, it will create new cells, carbon dioxide, methane, ammonia, and hydrogen sulfide. Kaya mabaho yung ating mga waste. Okay? Then, we also have the sanitary landfill engineered method for disposing solid waste, aspects of implementation, site selection, landfilling methods and operations, occurrence of gases and leachate in landfills and movement control. So, pakibasa na lang ito kasi it's already, and every 6 minutes pa naman pero. But I think you can, ano naman na ito, self-explanatory naman na itong mga remaining. So, yun yung coverage ng ating midterm exam next week. So, let's see kung next week or pwede pa naman tayo siguro humabol ng next week, yung week before nung ano, or yung ano na, mahal na araw na mismo pala. Monday, Tuesday kasi may pasok pa naman yata. So, yun guys, kung wala na po kayong question, let me just check the attendance sa remaining na 5 minutes natin. Wait lang. So, just say present kapag ka nandito. Aliado,
Ma'am, present.
Ambrosio,
Present po.
Malanag,
Present po.
Halimlim,
Present po.
Carbonel,
Present po.
Carlos,
Present po.
Castro Angelica,
Present po.
Castro Fredeline,
Present po.
Cole. Okay, sige. De La Cruz, ay joke. Cole De La Cruz Carlos.
Nag-exam po siya.
Ay, nag-exam siya?
Yes, ma'am.
Saan? Saan sa? Di ba, ano? Ito naman talaga yung schedule natin ng Envy.
Yes po, sabi niya po.
Sige. So, absent kasi ano, yun na siya nagpaalam. Then, De La Peña, Christine.
Present, ma'am.
Deschar,
Present po, ma'am.
Gabot,
Present po, ma'am.
Gomez,
Present po.
Iko,
Present po, ma'am.
Overo, wala.
Present po, ma'am.
Lumibaw,
Present po, ma'am.
Agat, Manuel,
Present po, ma'am.
Meneses,
Kailangan namin ng percentage ng bawat grade.
wala.
Present po.
Amen. Musabi,
Exam ka dyan?
Present po, ma'am.
Nava,
Present po, ma'am.
Speros,
Present po.
Padilla,
Present, ma'am.
Palma, wala si Trabone, Palma, Ramos, wala din, Rapsin,
May exam din po.
Present po, ma'am.
o bakit di nagpaalam tong mga to? Serrano,
Nag-exam din po, ma'am.
ba't hindi sila nagpaalam next time kapag hindi sila nagpaalam, absent ko talaga itong mga to. Kasi, di ba,
Ma'am, sila sa GC, ma'am.
Kinag-claim ko talaga sila nagpaalam mag-face to face na ako kasi ginagawa pala nila ano. Buti sa mga nagpaalam sila. Kasi kung ganito din lang, hindi sila nakikipag-participate porket online, then I will just make it face to face na lang every Thursday. So, pakisabihan tong mga. Next, we have si Bayan,
Hindi kasi kung
Present po, ma'am.
si Kig,
Present po.
Sumintak,
Present po, ma'am.
Marino, then Velano.
Present po, ma'am.
Okay, so, Velano, nandito?
So, kung mas
Wala. So yung mga absent na yan, so kapag, di ba gustong-gusto niya ng online, pero kapag ganyan, ay ayoko ng ganyan, dapat nagpapaalam. So, yun. Hanggat hindi sila nagpapaalam, face-to-face na lang tayo kung ganyan. Okay, so kung wala na po kayong question, guys, update ko na lang sa GC kung kailan yung magiging exam natin for your midterm. Okay, so goodbye and good morning.